Yeah, right, please.
Firstly, I want to thank everyone for being here and appreciate your time. And we are very excited to announce this project because I think we have worked very hard to create a design that is come from the heart and a style that we want our families of this project to really enjoy. And with obviously Maulik and Meera and Sheth Group, we are excited to announce this today. Coming back to your question of design, I think that the biggest motivation for me as a designer and as a person who has always been completely fascinated by the world of design and architecture, I think that for me, I want to give my clients and my families who come to us for their design solutions super relaxed atmosphere in their homes where they can feel completely at ease, where they feel one with themselves, and where they get energized to work better in their lives and spend great time with their families. So as the designer, I want to create memories for them, and that's why we design these spaces, so that it converts into good memories and good moments. So I think that that is my biggest motivation, is humankind, and I believe that design should always make a person and a space feel alive, and that is the greatest philosophy that I keep in my head when I design. Yeah.
Thank you, I guess that's really interesting and inspiring. But as you know that all the designers, they have their different style. So what according to you is your signature style and philosophy?
So for me, when I look at a space, I enter a space and it's grey and it's dark and there's no light and it's rubble because it's always in construction phase. And how we, through my design company, the Charcoal Project, we believe that we need to ignite life into that space. So we choose to design a space where we mix in a concept keeping in mind feminine and masculine. I feel that once, as a design company, we have a mix of like the feminine parts of design. So when I talk about feminine, I would talk about architecture like the Renaissance or even the Mughal period. All of this is there's a lot of motifs. Even the Mughal period is one of the most beautiful times in our history of art and architecture. So you take a lot of motifs and you take a lot of patterns from these areas. And then when you think about the very Frank Lloyd Wright stoic and very strong, industrial architectural design. So you bring in a lot of the mix of these two worlds of a strong, stoic design and a very feminine design, and how you use this balance is what I keep in my head to create that perfect space. Yeah.
That's really amazing.
First of all, thank you all of you for taking out time and coming here today and listening to us, giving us an opportunity to talk about our association. At Ashwin Sheth Group, we've always believed that our strength is design. Our motto is life by design. We've always designed square inches and not square feet. Right from the start, maybe back in 2005 when we did Beaumont and Prabha Devi. That was a new benchmark in luxury living, and we always are striving, trying to do better than ourselves, trying to set new benchmarks, and trying to give the best to our customers. And with this philosophy, the first name which came in our mind was Sussanne and the Charcoal Project. And I'm very excited with this collaboration, I'm very excited with this association, and it has just started, and we are looking forward to a long journey ahead together. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maulik. Yes, this is just the start of very exciting design philosophies that we can develop together for our client and for our families. And I think that I am very, very excited about doing this project at this scale, at this level of details that we are working on. And yeah, so I'm excited to introduce to everyone that today we just started, but we will be showing them a lot more. Yeah.
What made you choose a specific profession like interior design?
I was always very fascinated by the world of architecture and interior design from a little girl of 5. My mom used to be an interior designer, and we used to get Architectural Digest magazines to our home. And I was 5 years old going through these magazines, and I fell in love with design. And I told myself that one day I want to be a very, very important part of this world. And I think that I have every year I have gone closer and closer to my eventual goal.
What are the best architecture pieces in the world you have ever seen according to your opinion?
So for me, I think that my top 5 would be like Vatican City, because that is like the whole thing of the old world charm and the Renaissance and the Gothic and all of that mixed together. I think the other one would be the Eiffel Tower, because the Eiffel Tower has this excellent concept of using metal and making that metal feminine. Even though it's so big and it's so cold, it's very feminine. It's, when you think of the Eiffel Tower, you think of a woman, you know, a beautiful woman. And then there is Frank Lloyd Wright, who I love. So in California, when I was studying there, we used to keep going to these various houses done by Frank Lloyd Wright. So there is a house called the Prairie House, and there is Falling Waters. Falling Waters is a beautiful home which they did in the 70s, where there is a natural waterfall that's coming down from beyond the upper level of the house, and it goes into a natural, kind of like a pond and river. And the house is right behind this whole thing. So that's another great architect who I love. I love Antonio Citterio. He is one of my, he's an Italian architect, and he is one of my top 5, because I feel that he's done the most beautiful property in the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Bodrum, which is again very modern, but at the same time it's got that very warm vibe of relaxed luxury. And there is Philippe Stark, who does like the most beautiful properties all over. And I think that you can't pick, because there is so much in the world of architecture and design. I would also love to say the Taj Mahal, because I think that India, we are so lucky to have that kind of architecture, and we are, our heritage is so strong with the entire Mughal period and the Rajput period, because that influences us today. Till today we are influenced with patterns and designs. And I think that being a student who has had the chance to, be born and brought up from India and go and study in the West, I think the combination of both these worlds have made me the designer I am. And I think that is what the exposure has contributed to my design sensibility. Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else apart from this gentleman?
Considering your bio profile, what kind of research that you had to put in before designing this beautiful place?
So basically, we were working on the demographics of like what is our client, what are the age group of the families who will be staying here, and exactly like how many kids, what are the kids, are they younger, are they older? So firstly, we do a lot of kind of understanding of who the clients are. And once we understand what is the age group and what is their entire lifestyle, that's when we decide and we start our journey towards what are the amenities that will add value to their lives. So I think that was the first thing that we started off from. And then like I said before, I wanted to create, and we want to create these spaces in such a way that it is for all the five the senses, you know, which can be you can feel evoked, and you feel like when you enter that zone, it's the smell, it's the sound, it's the sight, all those things, and even the touch. So I think that keeping in mind these few things, we started off on the journey of designing this project. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sussanne ma'am, will you be writing a book as well?
Maybe one day in my life. Right now, no such plan, but God willing, one day maybe a design philosophy book. Yeah.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.